Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, and this is the latest transfer news. Wow, what a game we just watched between Spain and Germany. That was really, really good. That was very entertaining. But let's get to the most important thing for us Arsenal fans, and that is the transfer news. Who are we signing and who are we getting? So let's talk about the latest on Calafiori, the latest on Aaron Ramsdale's situation. Is he going to leave? Could it actually end up being a loan? I'm not sure about that one, but we have news on him. We'll also be talking about the latest on Kimmich. And finally, a lot of you have been asking about the striker situation. There's updates on that. But let's start with Calafiori. So many people have been like, let's finish it. Let's quickly finalize the deal before Chelsea enter. I've never been worried about Chelsea. As I've always said, that happened during the Modric thing. Since then, we've become an even better team. We can now attract players ahead of teams like Chelsea. And we're in the Champions League, they're not. So, yeah, the time Modric went to Chelsea, we were not in the Champions League. So there's a lot of things that have changed ever since then. But this is the latest on Chelsea and Calafiori. From Team News and Ticks, Chelsea have given up on signing Ricardo Calafiori. They've given up. They've given up on signing Calafiori. We are ahead of them in so many things right now. Not only the Champions League football, we have a settled project. They've just brought in a new manager. You're not really sure how you're going to settle in there. We already know it's going to be here next season. The players are already settled, and basically it's a settled project. And Chelsea is a very new project. And most of these players, they know Arteta is going to be here. I'm going to go and play for Arteta. Arteta is one of the main reasons they're coming to Arsenal right now. And for a team like Chelsea, if you go to Chelsea right now, you don't even know how long Maresca is going to be there for. You could be there, and then after 2 months, it's gone. Remember Aubameyang? When Aubameyang went to Chelsea, he was signed by Tuchel, and within like a couple of months, Tuchel was sacked, and then Aubameyang was stranded. Lampard coming in and all those guys coming in didn't really fancy Aubameyang, and that becomes a problem. So you want to go to a place where the project is settled and the team is in the Champions League. And for us as well, we're also trying to win the Champions League right now, win the Premier League right now. So we're trying to win trophies over the next couple of seasons. So it would be an easier from players like Calafiori. The only teams that I'm usually like, you never know, is Man City and Real Madrid. Those teams definitely can attract players ahead of us. But the others, I'm usually like, nah, these days we have a very good project. You can attract players. And Calafiori looks like the deal is definitely happening. I'm sure by this weekend, you're going to hear a breakthrough, and we're going to hear, here we go. This was from an Italian Gazzetta Italia. Breaking: Ricardo Calafiori will go to Arsenal. 53 million transfer fee, euros, 44 million per year salary, also in euros. So this deal is as good as done. Like, I'm very confident this deal is as good as done. We just need to agree on things like the bonuses, as reported by different journalists. We just finalizing the bonuses and stuff like that. This was from Martin Moretto, new contest between Arsenal and Bologna in the last few hours. So right now, I think it's only Arsenal and Bologna currently discussing the Calafiori deal. So we're not expecting any other team to come in, unless Real Madrid come in last minute. But I'm sure he's already said yes to Arsenal, and Bologna basically 95% done. I'm sure they've even agreed on the fee. It's maybe now just the structure. So even if we agree to give them 50 million euros, we have to agree on the bonuses, as you can read at the bottom, and also you need to agree on the structure of the deal. We can tell them, okay, we're going to pay you a total package of 50 million euros. We're going to pay you maybe 40 million upfront, and then 5 million in add-ons, and then 5 million in bonuses. I don't know how the deal is going to be structured. And then for Calafiori, the terms already been agreed. So it's already agreed on a 5-year contract. It's already agreed on 4 million per year salary. It's already agreed in terms of joining the project. So that is pretty much done. Those are usually the hard things to get done. Now, the only thing remaining is Arsenal and Bologna finalizing the pay structure. And also on top of that, the medical after that. The player, I think, is currently on holiday. They just finished their Euro campaign, so the player has gone on holiday. But this deal for me is as good as done. Just like last season, I was able to say that about Havertz and Timber and also Rice, mainly because we do know how Arsenal transfers work. Yes, the Modric one was a weird one. It happened once. That was a weird one, and you feel like you're going to get the player. But for this one, Chelsea already been rejected. Chelsea already out of the process, and Arsenal and Bologna have a good relationship. So we have a lot of things going our way in terms of this deal. And left back, does see left back as a very important position. So I don't think he'd want to let this one slip, especially because players playing on that left side, the likes of Branthwaite, I'm not sure he can play as a left back, but we've been linked to players like Branthwaite, and he's going to cost him like 60-70 million. Hato will cost him more. Kadioglu, more of a left back than a centre back, and this guy Calafiori can do both. We've taken a look at his stats, a player who can do both, a player who can intercept, a player who can win his aerial duels, a player who can, make tackles, a player who can create chances, assist, a player who's good at passing and controlling the ball and controlling possession, everything that ticks Arteta's boxes. So I'm sure they will be getting this done very quickly. Just like the Havertz one, I think Havertz became available and Arteta was like, yeah, we need to get it done immediately. There was no wasting of time. Even if another team came in, Arteta had already given the green light of, yeah, let's get this play immediately. Download and let it slip away. For other players, you can take a bit of time to negotiate so that you don't have to pay too much money. But for Calafiori, we're going to get it done very quickly. It's 50 million euros. You could actually end up paying less than that. The wages are less than 100,000, and that is even after quadrupling it and stuff. So this is a deal that is definitely happening, and we're expecting at least a here we go this weekend or a bomb from David Dunstan in terms of finalizing the deal. And the moment we hear the here we go, this will be a second official signing of the transfer window after David Raya. Speaking of David Raya and goalkeepers, we have news on Aaron Ramsdale, and this is the latest on him from Sky Sports. Said all options remain open regarding Aaron Ramsdale. His contract still has 2 years to run with the option of a further year, and Arsenal don't want to lose him. But understand if he wants regular first-team football, a loan cannot be ruled out. So let's go step by step. All options remain open regarding Aaron Ramsdale. So we still don't know what is going to happen, and that is the case for majority of our players. Ramsdale, Partey, Jesus, Zinchenko. We don't know if they're going to stay, whether they're going to leave. I don't think Arteta wants to push them out. So I don't think Arteta wants to push any of those players out. I think most of those players are like, yeah, first team football, maybe it's time to move on, but they're still like, okay, I can stay for one more season. Maybe I can win the Premier League title. Maybe some of those players are thinking like that. And someone like a Ramsdale is also, Ramsdale, Smith Rowe, they're thinking about their England futures and England careers and, teams that are coming in for them. And they're like, can we stay for one more season? Maybe this one you're going to get more opportunities. And I'm sure Ramsdale is thinking like that as well. And it's very surprising because up to now, I've not really seen any concrete offers for Ramsdale, and you're already heading to the middle of July. So that is a weird one. I thought you were going to see offer after offer after offer from the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa, maybe a Leicester coming into the league, maybe some teams abroad like an AC Milan or someone, like teams just wanting him and asking about his situation. But at the moment, there's no team that's actually asked for him. And for me, I did say I'm okay with our defense and our goalkeeping situation. If all of them want to stay, absolutely fine with that. We don't need to sign someone. That helps us to focus on the midfield, focus on the front line, focus on the right back, on the right wing situation. That allows us to do that. And Aaron Ramsdale, it's also 50-50. We don't know if he's going to go. We don't know if he's going to stay. Seth goes on to say his contract still has 2 years to run with the option for a further year. So yeah, we can actually add for him his contract and keep him here for another 3 years. But that is only if he accepts being a backup goalkeeper. He's not going to be the first choice. Actually, out of the 38 Premier League games, he might end up playing a couple. And now that we've signed David Raya on a permanent deal, he's going to feature against Brentford, and Ramsdale might not get any Premier League games. He might have to wait for other competitions like Carabao Cup or FA Cup. I think Arteta would use him in that. I mean, if Ramsdale ended up staying and then we don't go through all the drama of, this one makes a mistake and then the whole media talks about this one and this one and this one, all that stress that we went through last season, having Ramsdale as a second choice goalkeeper would be really, really good. Yes, I know he's not the best kicker, but for me, and probably many of you, he's still a very, very good goalkeeper. He's a good shot stopper. I'll never forget those games against Liverpool and Tottenham a couple of seasons ago. He's a player who can definitely save the ball. Maybe in terms of kicking is not the best, but those Carabao Cup games, FA Cup games that you're expected to win, give Raya a rest. Ramsdale can play those games, and if you go further in those competitions, he can get a clean 10 games next season. He can get at least 10 games next season, and that would be great. I think that is that could even be enough for someone like a Southgate to say, okay, this is a very good goalkeeper. I'm still going to pick him for the next tournament, the World Cup. Maybe he can even end up being a starter, especially if he's not being forced out and he's not desperate to leave. I'd be happy to keep him, but we're still not sure. He also goes on to say Arsenal don't want to lose him, so that's interesting. But understand if he wants regular first-team football, a loan cannot be ruled out. Would you guys take Ramsdale on a loan? I'm not sure about that. It's either he stays and gets to be our second choice goalkeeper, or just sell and get that money and use it elsewhere to at least buy another goalkeeper. Because if you send him out on loan, we still have to buy another goalkeeper again, and we've not really gotten any money from Ramsdale. So for me, if you're going to buy another goalkeeper, let it be from the Ramsdale sale, and then we get another goalkeeper using that money, not loaning out Ramsdale and then getting getting the money and getting a goalkeeper by using the money from our own pockets. I'm not sure about that. Now, you could argue maybe if Ramsdale goes out on loan and then he has an historic season for his team, then his value goes up to 40 million or something. You can argue that. I do understand that part. But in terms of signing another goalkeeper right now, my first option in step by step, my first option would be keep the player at Arsenal with Dreyer. I'll be very, very happy with that. The second option would be if we need to get another goalkeeper, just sell Ramsdale, use that money to get another goalkeeper, and then loan would be the last option for sure. So, but I do understand the fact of maybe you can send him out on loan and he can be good there, and then you can get at least the money paid for him or more than that, or profit. That could be interesting as well. But that's the latest on Aaron Ramsey. Let me know what you make of that. Let's talk about the striker situation. A lot of you have been asking about the striker situation. I don't think anyone knows what is going on. So this is also from Sky Sports. Seth, he also says it's our information that the profile of forward Arsenal are looking for is a young forward with a high ceiling and big potential, one that will challenge and provide more competition for the established players already at the club. So for me, I do think there's a lot of guesswork going on right now. I do feel there's a lot of guesswork going on amongst journalists and trying to figure out what Arsenal are trying to do. And that is a good thing because a couple of years ago, there's a lot of leaks and, everyone knew what was going on at Arsenal, and people are like, who's this mole, taking out the news from Arsenal and spreading the news all around in terms of transfers and in terms of, fallouts in the team, in the dressing room. There was always news coming out. Now, considering you're not getting any news at all, even in terms of striker and which players we are signing, that's a good thing. I'm sure they're doing deals, but no one is hearing about it, which is a good thing for me, which shows you that there's no leaks at Arsenal. Back in the day, man, you used to hear Aubameyang did this like 4 weeks before it even came out. You'd hear Lacazette fought Cedric weeks before it came out. You'd hear about transfers weeks before it came out. Now, a lot of these are secrets, and I'm happy with it. But if it is actually true, looks like if it's actually true, it says that we are looking for a younger forward. Now, Osimhen and Gyökeres are still like 25, so they're not that young, but they're not that young and they're not that old. So could it be that you're looking for someone like a Sesko still, a 21-year-old, 22-year-old? I don't know. And I'm sure we're going to sign a striker. And doesn't necessarily mean if you're not hearing about a striker right now, you're not going to sign a striker. I am sure you're going to get a striker. So I think we just have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll get one, but the news is not coming out in terms of leaks and all that. They've decided to keep everything private this time around. And I'm very happy with that. Keep everything private. The only strikers we've really had about, usually you'd hear Arsenal being linked to like 50 players. Now, maybe you're using some smoke screens in terms of saying we want this player, but you don't really want them, and then you go for a different player. That could work out as well. Maybe Kadioglu wasn't really, in Arsenal's raid, and then you just mentioned his name and then went for Calafiori. That is great, that helps you prevent hijackings in terms of players and all that. So let's keep everything private. As long as we hear from nowhere, boom, Gyökeres, here we go. We hear Watkins, here we go. I'll be happy with that. We don't have to have news every single day. As long as they're getting the deals done behind the stage and all that, I'm happy with that. So let's see how that one goes. Speaking of deals getting done without anyone knowing, there was a secret German play that we were told about. Now, Germany are out of the Euros 15 minutes ago, and this is what the situation is according to that. According to News and Six, he said, I have since heard that the mystery German international player is definitely not Joshua Kimmich. I mean, that's not surprising because Kimmich is not a secret. Everyone knows about Kimmich. Everyone knows about his contract situation. Everyone knows that he will potentially live there. So that is not a secret. So you're not surprised to hear that. So he's not the secret player, but we still want Kimmich. So, but he's not the secret player. So he's still in the list, but not the secret player. So the secret player could be anyone, man. It could be Sane, it could be Mittelstadt, it could be Andrich, who knows? It could be Fulkrug, it could be Nabry, it could be any of those. Could even be Neuer, who knows? But let's see. I think you're going to hear some developments. Hopefully, you don't hear any developments because we want to keep it a secret to avoid any hijackings. Let's just hope that. So Calafiori, here we go. And then the next day, when no one is expecting it, German player, here we go. They're out of the Euros now. Yeah, he's coming to us. So 60 million deal out of nowhere. That would be great. I don't know who it's going to be, but whoever it's going to be, Well, I think you're going to sign a strike, and it's going to be very. We're going to be happy. By the time we get to the end of July, I'll be here and I'll be telling you guys. I told you, I'm not really worried about not signing players in June and the beginning of July. I'm sure by the end of July, we're looking at our team and our business and looking at what the other teams have done, and you're like, oh, look, we signed 4 players already. Chelsea have only signed one. Chelsea have signed a lot of players, a lot of kids. Chelsea made only one significant signing, or look at Man City, they've only made one signing. Look at Liverpool. I'm sure by the end of July, we are the team that would have made the most deals, and hopefully we get some deals that can improve our team. So let me know what you make about all that. Calafiori, Ramsdale, Kimmich, and also the striker situation. Is there any young striker that you have you've been thinking about that we can get? Let me know. As of now, hit the like button. Make sure to check out the live stream that we did earlier. Good interactions with all of you. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.